My name's Clive Adams, and I'm happy to introduce Dr. Joe Balser, who I've just met in the flesh for the first time today, and I'm very happy to meet him. I think it's a rare find to find a consultant in gold mining that you can actually trust, who knows what he's talking about, and I'm very excited to work with him.
I'm happy to work with you too. I'm happy to give you as much information as I have, and if I don't have the answer, I'll go get it for you. But what I'm doing is we're sitting here in a place called Goodyear's Canyon, just off the North Yuba River, up near Downeyville, California. I have a piece of private property up here called the Rainbow Ranch. It's on 140 acres up here at the headwaters of Goodyear's Creek. We're sitting in my home up here, and we're having this discussion. I'm trying to answer questions with regard to what I know about gold and how it can be applied on the Big Canyon project.
I just need to put it on the record. Do you have any financial interest in the Big Canyon mine?
No, I do not. No, I always work on a fee-for-service basis on all my jobs. I need, as a scientist, to maintain that objectivity of having a hands-off approach. I never get involved where I have a vested interest. I won't be the spokesman for them because I need to have that objectivity, and I have great pride in my objectivity as a scientist, and I don't want it to be muddied in any way. So if I have a vested interest in something, I don't offer opinions. But what I'm dealing with as an engineer under contract to do work, I do it on just a fee-for-services basis, and that allows me the freedom of being able to give people the bad news as well as the good news.
Can you describe your methodology to doing the evaluation on the Big Canyon project?
Well, basically, as in almost all cases, you start out by taking random samples. When I first got involved, I did some assays from samples that other people had given me. I started to report some fairly large values being found in that, and that's how we sort of got our attention focused on the Big Canyon as a site. That was then followed up by a visit by myself where I went out there and I took my own samples from various regions all over the property to gather my own samples, which I had chain of custody on, never let those samples out of my control. I was able to take those back to my laboratory. I could trust, I knew exactly where they came from. I picked those sites randomly, so I knew that they were good objective samples. Brought them back to my lab, and I did another evaluation and did some more laboratory testing to show that the gold was still there in economical amounts, and started quantifying that. When we finished that work, and it was obvious that the mine was being secured for future operations, we then decided that we would take a test plant up onto the property, because one of the things about placer is that in order to start quoting numbers about pay grades of material, you need to get rid of the statistical variation that you get from running small samples. So what we wanted to do is to run large volume samples so that we could see more what the average sustained pay grade would be. So I took a test plant up there and ran for many days in a row, running 10 to 20 cubic yard samples of gravels that were picked from various regions around the property. And we ran those across. We collected a sluice concentrate, we collected a jig concentrate out of our test plant. Those were brought back, and I took samples of those, got those assayed, did mercury amalgamation tests for free gold, did some fire assays on that material, evaluated it again for the pay grade that was present in that material. We then also took that material, and since I have that tabling operation, we took buckets of these jig concentrates and actually ran them across the table so that we could recover the free gold and put it in your hand. So that's how we came to be confident of what's there.
Do you remember the results, approximately, the numbers from the different samples? Well, talk for a moment about, there's a modern channels on that property, modern stream, which are, I understand, post-uplift of Sierra Nevada?
Yes, that's correct.
Those are the modern channels. There's been a little mining on those, I understand.
That's right, and they do have a pay grade material in them, yes.
So you took samples from those?
Yes, as well as the older channels.
Had you seen that before, where there was these ancient tertiary channels sort of underlay, going in all sort of weird, odd
Yes.
directions?
We're sitting right on top of one at this moment.
Oh, we are?
Yes, we're sitting on top of a region that has ancient tertiary channels running around us here at 5,300 feet. We're at about 4,000 feet elevation. We're on the modern river channel now, but so we're sitting on exactly that kind of a situation here.
Gosh. So that it isn't uncommon, but it's not that, it isn't that common either, is it?
No, I mean, usually if you have somebody that wants to draw your attention to a gravel deposit that's got gold in it, he might be talking about a high bench that's adjacent to a river. It might only be a modern river. He might be very far and remote away from an ancient tertiary channel. It's just that the way you ask the question and where we're at the moment, it exactly fits what you were describing.
Wow. So based on your placer mining experience and having consulted many projects, how often have you seen these two types of geologies on the same property?
I have two pieces of property myself that have this kind of a situation. One is here and one's up by LaPorte in Northern California. Same thing, it has ancient tertiary channels and modern river channels, okay? And then, of course, this property is right along what's called Goodyear's Creek, and it
But
has...
is it unusual to find that in Nevada?
Oh, it's certainly in Nevada, but it's not completely surprising because most of the origin of those old ancient tertiary channels that flooded over into California came from Nevada. So if you follow those tertiary channels back, they go right into Nevada, and they would lead you right to Big Canyon.
So did you run any of the samples through a certified lab that did their own independent analysis?
Absolutely, all the mercury amalgamations were done by a laboratory, totally hands off from myself. I didn't actually do the analysis myself. I always turn it over to a certified
So
lab
they
to run.
confirmed your results then?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So your results have been confirmed in numerous different ways.
Many different times, and by physical recovery, and of course the main one that counts is when you can put the metal in your hand and weigh it, and we have results even that positive. So the primary project that Big Canyon is currently planned around taking the free gold out. The reason for that, of course, is that it's easy to do. It only requires water only, washing processes, gravity concentration methods. It produces a revenue stream very readily. It's also a it's something that's easily controlled and mastered to be able to get that free gold out. Once you start generating a revenue stream coming in, then I think it's appropriate more to start thinking about doing complex gold. There is complex gold in this. I've tested it by fire assay. I know the complex gold is there. At the appropriate time, it would be good, once you have a revenue stream, to be able to support the development of an operation like that. It would be the appropriate thing to do, but it would be nice to be able to doing that off your own revenue stream